Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Control Intelligence. I'm Mike Bacidore, Editor-in-Chief of Control Design, and your host for today's podcast. In this episode, I'm joined by Mike Chen, who is Senior Director of Solutions and Technology Development at Omron Automation. More than 10 years, he's passionate about technological innovation that only comes from engineers collaborating to find practical solutions to real-world challenges. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical and Computer Engineering from Cornell University. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks, Stu. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, Mike, speaking of Batch Size 1, what is Batch Size 1 production? Why is it important? And importantly, how can machine builders and integrators help manufacturers to achieve it?
Well, really, batch size 1 is an ideal state. It's that ideal state that the industry is trending towards, where the consumer can get a product tailored specifically to them at a price that they're willing to pay, of course, and at the same time, it is produced by a manufacturer that can remain profitable while supplying such a tailored product to the masses. So it's that ideal state that the industry is trending towards, and that trend is accelerating. I think that we all know as consumers that we want choices. We want choices, and that one size mentality no longer fits all of us. And the personalization of products is becoming the normal expectation. Right? I think that consumers, we want choices, and we want it quickly. You think of the services out there that you see, like Nike by You, where you can customize your own sneaker, or even like personalized snack boxes from all these work-from-home days.
Absolutely.
So from a machine builder and system integrator perspective, the way that we see it is that this trend towards batch size 1 means that their demand for more flexible machines and interconnected IT/OT systems, that is on the rise. This trend drives shorter product life cycles. And in order for the manufacturer to, again, stay profitable and stay competitive with their other machine builders and system integrators, they need to leverage the newer technology as well as skilled workers to keep those designs fresh, making sure that production systems can still function cost effectively when they produce multiple variations of different products and of the same quality that customers still expect.
Absolutely. Productivity is certainly the bottom line, regardless of how many units of a particular product are being produced. So in that same vein, the industrial Internet of Things can help to reduce machine downtime and increase productivity, but its potential is so much more than that. How can equipment leverage data, for example, from the IIoT to respond to shifting consumer demands for that batch size 1 production?
I think that we get that question a lot in the industry, and I think that a lot of focus is around the technology itself. But just for a moment, I'd like to make sure that we and your audience really think about the question is about how people can leverage the data and the enabling technology around IIoT, right? Not just the technology itself, but how are people using this technology to respond to the shifting markets and demands? We have an internship program and a trainee program here at Omron, so people that are new to the industry coming in. And every year when we run this program, I talk to the incoming new people coming into industrial automation and make sure that we all are on the same page, that over the past half century or so, automation technology has really always been about automating physical tasks that were done, manually or mechanized through machinery, and figuring out ways to automate it. But really, the IIoT technology is an enabling technology for AI. And when I think of AI, I don't like calling it artificial, right? I think it's more palatable and understandable when we think of it as algorithmic intelligence, which the industry has also started using that acronym as well, right? Algorithmic intelligence. And so IIoT enables the data for algorithmic intelligence systems to make decisions. You're not automating physical tasks, but you're automating decisions. And each business out there, they need to think about with their best people, what decisions are they willing to automate, and how those decisions they could drive business decisions or production decisions or even machine operation decisions, depending on what resolution some of that data comes in at and what the relevance and what the confidence level is in that data. So at Omron, we encourage companies in the manufacturing space to really consider how can they leverage the algorithmically created insights gathered through IIoT data to solve societal challenges and improve human productivity, as well as improve product quality or improve flexibility to shift in response to those demands towards batch size 1, et cetera. Because really, veteran employees at the machine builders and end users, they have unmatched knowledge. We know that they have unmatched knowledge through their experience designing, building, maintaining the manufacturing equipment. But that experience takes a lot of time to learn, to apply, and grow. And what we're imagining and the industry is imagining with IIoT is imagine that possibility if some of those decisions, even just a fraction of those, were able to be automated or even semi-automated and enriched with other relevant data through IIoT technologies that increases either maybe accuracy or consistency, predictability of those decisions, and could allow those human subject matter experts to continue their discovery, their development, new knowledge that they could gain and solutions they could create. And that's really what manufacturers need, right? That with the trend towards batch size 1, that agility and that flexibility to respond quickly to customers, like we talked about. And it's easy. I think it's very easy over the past 10 so years thinking about IIoT as a way to improve productivity and operational excellence. But now, after a lot of iteration, experimentation in the industry around IIoT, we also understand it helps the people in manufacturing become more agile and responsive, and really remain competitive.
Boy, your excitement about technology is contagious. That is one of the most passionate explanations of AI that I think I have ever heard. So given that those needs of manufacturers and machine builders and integrators, what specifically is Omron doing to support them in adapting to this dynamic market, these changing customer needs?
Yeah, so to assist manufacturers and our partners and stakeholders, Omron has developed a framework around innovative automation, an innovative automation framework. And so innovative automation is a core value concept that we have where our products, our services, our business ventures are all in the direction of providing manufacturers with consistent, reliable ways of ensuring that they can meet both the consumer demands and the needs of the industry, the needs of not only Omron's industry, but their industry, the customer's industry, because this is a complete societal trend towards accelerated customization and batch size 1, and the overall demands are shifting. The concept around innovative automation is based on 3 major industrial automation trends that we see over our history, our 80-plus year history, is that automation, the expectation of automation is that it must be more integrated, it must be intelligent, and it must be interactive. So together, these 3 pillars of industrial automation enable manufacturers to provide that highest level of quality and sustainability and operational excellence that will help meet their future demands. From innovative automation, our HR teams and our engineering teams and our product management teams, all of our teams from R&D and operations, et cetera, we're all coordinated around this idea so that our company culture is to innovate these products, processes, and services to enable our customers to do the same.
Fantastic. What about the workers? And a lot has been written and talked about with the aging workforce and the shortage of workers, especially now coming out of this global pandemic, especially in skilled positions. How are those workforce issues affecting manufacturers' equipment needs?
Yeah, as I previously stated, I think that the expertise and experience of designers, builders, maintenance, program, et cetera, the veteran employees out there in the manufacturing industry, this is a form of capital. This is a form of capital which we certainly need to consider how to properly invest for the future, right? Are these highly experienced employees, are they best utilized doing tasks and making decisions that they already know how to do and they can already essentially do it easily? Or, are they best utilized mentoring future talent, driving new innovation? And I think every individual company needs to have that decision and blend that on their own, right? There's no one-size-fits-all answer even for that. But really, as the experienced workforce pool grows more difficult to pull from, not only because the pool is shrinking, but to pull people or experience from that workforce pool, manufacturers are really incentivized now more than ever to look at how could we possibly think differently and leverage technologies and potentially new business models to address the market demand. Just making sure that we're still utilizing the workforce that is available, right? Not ignoring the entire workforce that is also available to us and not focusing only on the highly experienced and veteran workforce. So automation equipment and components that are out there in the market that leverage data, leverage data-driven or historical insights, that is something pretty critical for business continuity at this point. So, making sure that intelligence and insight is built in either at the product level or at the service level for different organizations. So, for example, we have products, right? We have industrial robots with built-in interactive maintenance alarms and alert users of service intervals, and that's something that perhaps in the past that would have been a seasoned maintenance or other engineer to provide that value and decision making. But or in other situations like intelligent motor condition monitors that the product itself can detect anomalies in load conditions or bearing wear. That's something that might have needed, was definitely built off of a lot of experienced knowledge, and now is able to be embedded in a product. But also on the service level, right, that I think that the business models around complete care service programs where we can protect customers' capital investment and prolong their useful lifespan by leveraging some of those people that are in the industry and having it as a service, not only as a product.
Right. It kind of moves the needle a little further along that path toward equipment as a service. Although, some of that is already available, but certainly not to the extent yet where there is no longer capital investment, but perhaps someday, somewhere along those lines.
I think that the industry is trending towards experimentation into different business models, and we will all see kind of how this evolves.
Right, absolutely. So equipment exists. There are production lines. There are brownfield facilities, and yet new technology continues to develop constantly. So that integration of the old with the new, the installed base with the the new technologies that enable communication and smart manufacturing. How important is it to be able to integrate those new components into existing production environments? And can you give some advice on the best course of action for that?
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely important. I think the simple answer is it's extremely important because, like you said, the word brownfield, that's really the majority, the very, very vast majority. It's very, very rare at this point that you come in with nothing beforehand. Mm-hmm. Integration of manufacturing technology into brownfield production environments is the norm because most businesses still, whether it's service or capital, invest in automation as a way to scale up. They already either have a manual or semi-mechanized production system or line, and I think we're going away from lines, but more production systems and production environments where you don't have to do a single line of mass production, right, as we go towards batch size 1. But there's almost always going to be a current process or current equipment or current facilities that need to remain running to keep the business going even as automation upgrades are made. So it's critical to, I would say that it's critical for people to consider installing technologies which is safe for your workers in that situation, and services like a professional risk assessment, safety risk assessment, become quite critical in upgrading specific brownfield environments to further automate, to higher automation operations. So there's many industry standards to consider, not only on safety, industrial safety, and functional safety, but around things such as network communication protocols and programming interfaces and languages, which really help brownfield customers scale their operation while leveraging compliant products and their current talent or new talent that have learned standardized protocols and languages in trade school or professional or through experience. So many times integrating the products over various protocols, architectures, and programming languages, typically it's a pretty big challenge for manufacturers. It has been very historically, for sure. But that coexistence of the various formats in the production environment really increases the complexity, and it can cut into the operational efficiency and performance. But at Omron, our products are designed with that integration in mind. We have Omron Sysmac automation platform. It is designed to be interoperable with the vast multitude of Omron components, not only with Omron components, but also using built-in open network interfaces and communication protocols to integrate into existing production environments.
Perfect. I kind of wanted to go back to AI a little bit with you. I thought it was really interesting with the algorithmic intelligence that you talked about. I really wanted to ask about the advancements in machine learning that are enabling AI, but from your perspective, from that algorithmic intelligence perspective, how can that information be used and shared with, say, enterprise-level reporting and scheduling systems?
Sure. I mean, I think they're all linked eventually. In the ideal state, they'd all be linked. So there's definitely been many advancements in utilizing machine learning technologies around quality. So using it to verify quality in both product quality as well as the manufacturing process, the quality in the process. Excuse me. If we think about it as algorithmic intelligence, that really helps us imagine where it can be applied to solve real-world business problems. The question that manufacturers must ask is which decisions could be automated, and if automated, could solve a business need. It always starts with a business need first, right? And many of those answers involve some data-driven decision that leads to an insight that requires further action. And that further action that's where it links in and ties in with enterprise-level reporting as well as scheduling systems like work scheduling systems. If you are able to more accurately or more confidently see a data-driven decision through machine learning, then you should be able to also more confidently schedule different human operations and human activities around that, right? So depending on where the algorithmic decision is being made, and what I mean by that is that there's different levels of deployment or implementation of machine learning. You can deploy at the edge meaning really at the machine level, or locally in a facility at the fog, quote, I'm making air quotes, you can't see me, air quotes, fog, right? And then, or cloud level, which I think is most powerful and most popular, right? That will determine, depending on where you're applying that machine learning, that will determine the additional network communication and IT involvement required to securely connect that data source with other systems. And that will really define the challenges on data connectivity and security. So our experience tells us that production failure costs exponentially, it grows exponentially more as it travels further away from the machine. So if you can get some type of insight and corrective action at the machine level, that is going to be less expensive than as that blooms out to further systems downstream, right? So as a technology provider, and we're at the machine and robotics level, mostly from Omron, so our products have direct access or even generate the most relevant data in real time. Our products are right there. And so helping manufacturers identify anomalies as early and upstream in the production process as possible, that reduces that risk and waste further downstream. And at Omron, as part of our continuous commitment to intelligent automation, one of the other factors of innovative automation, intelligent automation, we believe it's a combination of local edge-based machine learning with accurate and secure OT data and IT layer insights that can provide the most unrealized value, so far maybe underutilized value to manufacturing customers. So equipment life is extended, and that risk of defects is reduced wherever possible. So then this final point on that, if you allow me, right? So both the operational excellence as well as looking at both operational excellence and data compliance, you're going to have data and information moving between OT systems and IT systems. It's going to have to be there, and it's going to have to move to BI visualization, business intelligence visualization. So in our controller, as one of the examples of doing that is with a built-in SQL client, as well as OPC UA server capabilities to bridge some of those communication hurdles in order to create an interface, an easy interface that both OT and IT can access and integrate into these data and network architectures for visualization and further BI insights.
Fantastic. Great answer. So finally, with the introduction of more collaborative applications to the factory floor, it seems like humans and machinery are interacting more than ever, sometimes side by side even. What sort of safety features and programming platforms are enabling this interactive environment in manufacturing plants?
Right. So I think you've already used our word of interactive, right? So interactive automation is that third I word in innovative automation, integrated, intelligent, and interactive. So creating a safe, interactive environment is really paramount. Like we talked about earlier with risk assessments, whenever there's a plan to bring in new robotics or new production equipment, we, of course, recommend starting with a professional risk assessment. And through that risk assessment, manufacturer can get help determining how to comply with the standards that are written in order to keep people safe. And that could be potentially coming up with safeguarding measures that make sense for the business environment as well as the manufacturing environment. The safeguarding measures could include technologies as simple as like a door interlock and safety relay, but can also include implementations of safety laser scanners or collaborative robots or safety-rated autonomous mobile robots, which is AMRs in the acronym world, right? So additionally, industrial robots that are designed specifically to operate in collaborative environments, what we find with customers that we've worked with for years is it makes a huge difference in the worker acceptance, right? When they can interact with the new technology at all levels of maintenance and engineering, and it helps them kind of overcome their previous image of robots or their fear of, and really accepting that into the workplace and letting them come up with new use cases for the technology, right? So collaborative robots are designed, we think, to be the next level of like a super power tool where, people don't use hand crank, drills anymore. They very comfortably use power tools for that, right? So the collaborative robot becomes that next generation super power tool where it enhances that worker capability or capacity to add value to their organization. So for both experienced and new employees, really. And then I mentioned briefly autonomous mobile robots or AMRs, such as, an example is our LD or light duty series AMRs. They can dynamically guide themselves around the production line and react in real time to a human environment. They're designed specifically for human environments to avoid collision in a safe way. And that's really valuable in enhancing the existing production environments. We already talked about brownfields, right? In brownfields, enhancing existing production environments, improving the product quality and yield while simultaneously reducing production downtime. So manufacturers are using AMRs are very much a trend, and to enables customers to safely manage that production flow even without making huge investments in new facilities and creating what I said earlier, like a line of traditional production line. And really, when that batch size one manufacturing comes into play, that flexibility is a big deal. So in interactive automation, the last thing is how intuitive is it to configure and operate some of this new equipment and technology. And that's where I think you said earlier about the programming platforms and how people will interact with it. The integrated development environment is both a trend and an expectation at this point, right? Having disparate software systems and disparate ways for people to interact with the technology, it adds to that complexity. So, at Omron, our Sysmex Studio programming software and integrated development environment provides that easy-to-use single environment for programming, configuration, commissioning, and monitoring the entire aspect of the machines. And that also plays into how we think of interactive automation as part of the needs of the industry.
Perfect. Can you recap the 3 I's again for me?
Sure.
Interactive.
So in our innovative automation framework, we believe that it's all about integrated, intelligent, and interactive, making sure that your automation technologies are integrated from a business perspective, from a automation perspective, as well as intelligent, able to leverage data and make decisions intelligently, algorithmically, of course, and then interactive, being safe with the human worker. Really, that harmony between human and machine is what Omron has always stood for.
Yes, that's a great summary, and I like that almost as much as I like the next generation superpower tool. That was probably my favorite new expression of the day. Well, thanks so much. Thanks to all of our listeners for joining us on Control Intelligence, the podcast for Control Design Magazine. And thanks, of course, to Omron Automation's Mike Chen. Thanks, Mike.
Yep, thank you, Mike.
If you've enjoyed this episode of Control Intelligence, don't miss our other older episodes and subscribe to find new podcasts in the future. You can find our podcast library at controldesign.com, or you can download all episodes via Apple Podcasts or Google Play. Thanks again, Mike.
Thank you.